Colonel, in 1979, at least the first Rolling Stone, which was the focus of the documentary, were you in the service?
I was. I was, let me say, a young officer. But fortunately or unfortunately, I was on mission in the Sinai with a UN mission. I would regret that because it denied me of the opportunity to have had first-hand knowledge of the events. Around 81, again, I was far away in Kumasi and then subsequently in Tamale. So in Kweku's words, I might have missed a bit of the action, you know, down south, especially in Accra. The documentary, to the extent that it helps to remind society about the ills that we have all gone through, is good. You see, but the issue I have with the documentary is that it lacks perspective. It only narrates the accounts of injustices and so on. But the context, you know, in which those ills occurred, and I think last week Oku was trying to, you know, make references to that. That context is completely missing. And therefore, you don't get the right perspective as to how these things happened. Secondly, with the little that I know about these upheavals, and I think Oku last week also made a point that it's very difficult to draw the clear timelines as to what happened 15 May, 4 of June, 31st December. But let me say generally that the accounts of the ills to rank and file officers and men is largely missing from the documentary. And I think I might have called you or somebody else at Joy FM when I saw the Odiyifo, is it Odiyifo?
Odiyifo.
Yeah, the Odiyifo's wife narrating how the husband was killed. That was fine. But I was in Kumasi. Now, that was the day when the sun set at noon in Kumasi. Now, what happened? There was a major, fine gentleman, you know, very fine gentleman who had been educated in overseas, but was then a dentist with the rank of major. And I think I should mention his name, you know, as a tribute to the circumstances under which he passed away. Major Dako, I've forgotten his first name. So we're all members of the Kumasi mess and so on. He was married, I think, to an expatriate who for some reason happened to be a member of this church, or maybe a Ghanaian, but nevertheless a member of the Odiyifo's church. I think the church was around Amekom, thereabout, close to the stadium. So the gentleman thought that his wife had kept too long at church and went to the church to get the wife, you know, to go home. The narrative goes that when he entered the church, there might have been some altercation or whatever, but the Odiyifo pointed a kind of holy stick that he was holding at the major. And instantly, the church members set upon him and killed him.
Oh, wow.
And left him, in fact, they stoned him to death, you know, and left him on the streets. So, in quotes, the alarm blew in the barracks, 4BN, Wadara barracks, and the soldiers ran amok and went to the church and grabbed the Odiyifo. And of course, what the woman was saying was the outcome of. You saw all sides, military, civilian, police, prisons, but the entire society suffered, you know. So to take one segment of society and use their case or cases, you know, to tell the story, as you would know, it's a bit of an imbalance. People like us, at some stage, could not stay at the Kumasi mess, where we were, those wooden stuff. We needed to go around Opokuwari and stay with friends for many nights because the soldiers were looking for officers, or there were threats that they were going to look for officers.
Why were they looking for officers?
Oh, that is the story that Kwaku will tell you. You see, that is the context. about how soldiers then perceive their officers as being, you see what I mean?
The officers were corrupt. I think if you read Rollins,
it's a whole lot of things. You know, using them as servants, the batmen, and all sorts of funny things. In fact, this narrative is also short on the wives of officers who were raped. Definitely, those wives, those wives could not have gone to the commission to narrate that they were raped. But there were many anecdotals of wives. Indeed, I have said elsewhere that being away in the Sinai, I have never had the courage. In fact, I had not thought that it's even necessary to ask my wife whether she was raped at Tubian, at Premdo Barracks.
Because your wife was down here whilst you were there?
Was there when I was in a... But there were officers whose wives were raped.
Wow.
You see what I mean? So we need to accept the responsibility as a society. And as I think Martin said, the whole idea is that as a state, we are not being very objective. One of the key recommendations the commission made was that we should teach our history. The question is, are we teaching this history?
You're not. I mean, it was so specific. And I think we should start going there, because that's just what makes this very relevant, this conversation.
So a whole lot of...
That the report should be in libraries.
Yes.
In every school.
In fact,
and should be taught.
When I Googled, in preparation for this, before I asked Joy FM for the report, when I Googled, Liberia's National Commission, TRC Commission report is online. The full report.
Ours is nowhere.
Ours is not there. You only read about Professor Osai, what's his name, your colleague. Yeah, those articles. An article by Professor Aboagye, a briefing piece, you know, very well thought out, as to the pitfalls that we need to take into consideration so that we don't raise expectations as to people thinking that the commission's work is going to be an antidote to all the ills. You see what those are the articles that you find, some on JSTOR. So if you don't have the code, you cannot access. But the state has not found it necessary to put the report out there for all of us.
And even the implementation.
Before we even come to implementation.
I mean, some of the